Ladies and gentlemen, Marie Claire Evans.
Shivering in my oversized sweater when it rains. I look to you for cover. Oh, where are you now? It's such a shame.
Marie Claire, what's going on?
Just hanging out with you, Paul.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you back here, and welcome back to Virginia Beach as well.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah, a little bit. You had a little bit of a trip there.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I want to get into that later. I want to find out all about it because you did like this crazy. What was it? 2 months?
It was 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay. All right. So almost 2 months. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. But first, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody that's tuning in. There's already a bunch of people tuning in to hear you and to see you.
Awesome. Hey, guys.
So, yeah. Hey, guys. What's up? How you doing? No? Nothing?
Nothing. Can
Man,
you believe that?
Awful. This is the Lockdown live stream. We do this every Sunday at 6 p.m. with a different artist or band each week. If you want to show us some love, you can do that by hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. And you can follow us on Facebook. You can also follow Marie Claire Evans. Where can they find you?
On Facebook, Instagram. I have a website. My Facebook and Instagram is at Marie Claire Music, although my Facebook got hacked and I don't have a Facebook page right now.
Love it.
I'm trying to get it back, though, so you can find me there. Follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Marie Claire, what do you have for us today?
Mostly original songs. That first one was it's probably one of the first songs I wrote. It's called Unplugged. Just wanted to throw it back, almost go in chronological order today. Haven't picked up my uke in a while, but
Yeah,
yeah. So original songs, yeah.
that's awesome. I've actually never heard you play a ukulele before. I didn't even realize you played ukulele.
Yeah, it was one of those that I picked up after I felt like I had a good grip on the guitar. I said, let me get something simpler so I can feel better about myself, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, with that, let's get to it.
All right, this next song is called By the Way, I'm Not Lonely. When the night turns to morning, I want you to leave. Take your clothes, take your keys, take all your memories. Now it's beside the point, but I want you to know I'll never ever think more than to see you go. And now you're walking through the rain with your shoes in your hand, thinking you wanna grow up to be a better man. Well, I've heard that once or twice before. Now my love lives away on a foreign shore. By the way, I'm not lonely. By the way, I'm not lonely. I'll see my mom and my dad for lunch once a week. I'll text my sisters that I miss them until they're red in the cheeks. I'll stop running away and start building a home in my mind, within which I can roam and roam. She was your fire in the winter, your hand in the dark, your heart was the pit and your words the spark. But with everything said, only one thing rang true, that there's more to this world than only me and you. By the way, I'm not lonely. By the way, I'm not lonely. I'm still high on the sheets of my unmade bed, actively forgetting all the things that we said. I know that I can be better than the things that we know, which we both must forget if we're ever to grow. And now I'm walking through the rain with my shoes in my hand, thinking of you but not giving a damn. I'll pave my own path, don't show me the way. I won't live with regret for one more day. By the way, I'm not lonely. By the way, I'm not lonely. Thank you.
Why are you so good at what you do?
That's so kind of you. I gotta say, it's kind of an off day for me, but it's part of the job, right?
Yeah.
Pushing through.
Well, if it's an off day for you, I mean, geez, what does that make the rest of us?
Completely talented and equally as valid.
Great answer.
Thank you.
That was That was something. Have you ever thought about going into politics?
No.
Well, good, because we need you in music.
I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. You're kind of a staple around these parts.
You would think so?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
wow.
mean, you've got quite a fan base. Um, I mean, you're what, practically a full-time musician. Like you're not struggling to get gigs. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
You know, if you want to
I
go
would
out
agree
and
with that.
play, you can go out and play. You've got a brand, you've got a name, and it's well deserved.
Thank you.
You know, it's obvious you've worked really hard to get where you are.
Yes. Lots of practice, lots of isolation.
Yeah,
That's what it takes.
yeah. No, it does. So let's start there. When when did you start music?
Oh, it's a big question. I started off with classical piano. It was one of those things that my parents were very adamant about,
Hmm.
classical music and culture and, you know, things that I appreciate very much, but I have to giggle when I say them, right? Or else
Right.
it's a little pretentious, um, like required to. And then, when I was in high school, I started to really get into rock and roll, sold my soul to rock
Hmm.
and roll. Picked up a guitar and
That's a
kind of taught
lyric right
myself.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, maybe in like a Skinnerd song. And picked up a guitar and kind of went back and forth between teaching myself, taking a couple lessons. But I've always been singing. Like that's the one thing. It's like I strayed away from classical music. I found a voice in kind of folk, but I, all the way I've been singing. So no matter what instrument it's been. But I didn't start writing until, I mean, I've always written poetry, but I didn't
Mhm.
start writing songs until maybe my first year in college. So, oh my God, 6 years ago now, 6 years ago now. So
Yeah, it goes by fast.
it does. I'm a
Yeah.
little freaked out about it right now,
Yeah.
but so yeah, it's been quite the journey. I mean, it started off definitely all poetry, thinking I love music, but I could never write it. And then one day, I had a couple glasses of wine and said, you know what? Why not me?
Yeah.
And just kind of worked through a lot of crap
Yep.
until something finally sat right. And then after that, sometimes songs just started coming to me. So,
Let me ask you this. In that process of growing into the musician that you did you ever have any doubts? Was there ever like, you know what, I should just stop because I'm terrible?
yeah, all the time. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that I'm not the best guitarist out there. So it
Yeah.
took a lot for me to like, obviously I practiced and I wanted to be good at guitar, but it kind of was a means to an end. It
Hmm.
was like, I have these songs, I have this voice, I want to sing. And, that was the way I knew I was going to do it. Because I was so busy, I didn't see playing with other people as very viable.
Right.
So I took the route that I had, and I've had plenty of doubts about, what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, it's like I meet so many people that appreciate my music and, they resonate with what I'm playing and what I'm saying. And that's enough for me to keep going back.
Yeah.
Despite any doubts, that's enough for me to get out there and share what I have to offer.
I really like that answer. And I'll tell you why I like that answer. It's because a lot of people think that successful musicians, which I would consider you a successful musician, that it just happens overnight, or it's like this magical thing where there's no struggle. And I think it's important for musicians that are still in like this. I don't think the struggle ever really goes away. I think you kind of get used to it. At least in my case, it's more of like, I just know I have to push those thoughts to the side. Um, but there was also a long period where I didn't know that. And I think it's really important that musicians see that, successful musicians didn't get there just because it was a cakewalk. Like, it takes a lot to push yourself and to keep going. So I really appreciate that perspective. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. It's, it's work, but it's also confidence.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No,
goes a long
absolutely.
way.
All right, let's do another song here,
Okay.
and then I want to talk a little bit more about this trip that you had, because I know
Okay.
there's a lot of people out there excited to hear about it. Because I saw a post on social media. It looked like you had a blast. It looked like it was crazy town and awesome. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of jealous.
It was all those things. We'll take you next time. We got room in the car topper.
Perfect. My
Yeah.
favorite.
All right. This next song is one of the newer songs I've written. It's called No End. I feel a weight upon my shoulders. I'm reaching for the light that's mine. In the deep abyss that is the night sky, I am rolling home to you. I raise my hands in sweet surrender to my body and to my soul. Can't stop the music flowing through me and finding its way to you. And when it all falls apart, I've been living for today. When you're looking into me, I comprehend. There is no end. When the child in me is sleeping, I'll be sinking into your lullaby. And as we're wandering this green earth, I'll still be home with you. And when the morning lures my eyes, I'll be dancing in the days. When you're looking into me, I comprehend. There is no end. Endless bliss, endless light, endless roads, endless nights, endless hours, endless days, endless you, endless me.
Seriously, why are you so good?
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, your songwriting is awesome, and that's something I definitely want to get into because I feel like you probably have a lot to say and a lot of knowledge to kind of drop. Um,
Maybe.
yeah, songs like that, get out of here. Come on, you know what you do. You know what you are.
I'm a writer. Okay, I'm a writer.
Yeah, breaking news, folks. Marie Claire Evans, she's a writer. Who
Dang.
knew?
PSA.
Yeah, except for everybody who's paying attention, but you know. All right, so this trip, what gave you the idea to just pack up a car and go on like a busking tour of what, like the East Coast essentially?
The country.
Yeah.
We went all
Okay.
around, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, how did that conversation start?
Well, truthfully, I can remember exactly when that conversation happened. Nick and I, my boyfriend Nick, were chilling, hanging out, laying in bed, and talking about, the classic, like, what if we ran away? You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
It's a little cheesy. But we're like, what if we just went away for a while?
Yeah.
And he was like, not really being serious, but I was like, well, my contract for my job is up in July, and I am looking for a new job, so why don't I just see my contract through, and then we hit the road?
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know? Because I had other plans. I had plans to go to medical school, and I was on the wait list and for 2 schools, and I was like, well, if I don't get in, then I want to work another job anyway. So this is perfect. My last day is July 2nd. We'll leave next week.
Yeah. Wow.
And the next week. And so we did some planning over the course of like 3 weeks maybe.
Okay.
And Nick did some research while I was at work and found some cities that were good for busking. And he sent me those, and I kind of compiled the research. We had like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And made a calendar, and because he's not the biggest planner. I am obsessed with planning, like probably to a point where it's a personality flaw. And I was more than excited to get everything together. But so we didn't hit every city on that list, but we made sure that we hit the cities we wanted to and gave ourselves like a day for travel, a day to be there, a day for travel on the tail end. And sometimes we got a little more time, sometimes a little less time. We ended up staying in LA 2 days longer than we expected.
Oh, wow. So you really did go across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. We went north first.
Yeah.
And then we went south, stayed in Florida for a week to visit Nick's son. And then we went west, and then up the west coast, and then down. We hit like Seattle, and then we went down into Montana.
Jeez.
Visited friends in Omaha, and last stop was Nashville. So we kind of went all the way around the coast, and then jetted east from I guess Montana.
No kidding. Now I really am jealous.
It was a lot. It was a lot of driving and a lot of sitting, but it was a lot of experiencing. So well worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Oh, I would imagine. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we played our music basically every city we went to.
Wow. So, all right. So let's talk like logistics a little bit, just for anybody that might be interested in attempting something as ridiculous and awesome as what you guys just pulled off. So were you guys mostly staying in hotels or camping, sleeping in the car, or like a mishmash of all of that?
Mishmash of all of that. Well, actually, we didn't sleep in our car at all. We had kind of planned to, but between like the 2 guitars and like, enough clothes to at least get us through a couple weeks.
Right.
So we wouldn't have to do a lot of laundry. It was, there wasn't a lot of room.
Yeah.
But if we could have like made more room, we would have slept in the car. But we did camping. We stayed with friends a lot. Thank you, friends, everybody who had us. That was a lifesaver. I think more than anything else, we stayed with friends. We did stay in hotels a couple of times, but avoided it whenever we could.
Right.
Sometimes camping wasn't nearby, and there's always the issue of finding a place to shower.
Yep.
So a little bit of everything.
Which I will say one thing on that point: truck stops. Truck stops are great. They have like these fully self-contained, like basically it's like a restroom with a shower and all that. I think you pay a couple of bucks, you get it for like an hour, and they clean it after every single use. So it's like always like thoroughly cleaned. So just word to the wise out there, if you ever need a place, if you're doing a road trip, truck stops are awesome.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we probably should have done that a couple times. We got a gym membership before we left, and then we used the showers there when we needed to.
Nice. That's
they had
smart.
them all over.
Yeah.
Nick's idea, not mine.
Yeah. No, that's really clever.
Yeah, it was definitely convenient a couple of times.
Yeah.
But, we didn't camp as much as we planned to.
Now, okay, so I gotta ask, what was your favorite, if you had to, gun to your head, what's your favorite city?
My favorite city?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like gun to my head. Guns to my head. Guns to my head. I have to answer this.
This got real dark real quick.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know. I really, really, really enjoyed Seattle. Really enjoyed Seattle.
They've got a pretty poppin' music scene, don't they?
They do. We actually went to a punk rock show when we were there.
Nice.
So that was really fun. That was the only show we went to while we were out, though. I don't know. I think it's like a tie between Seattle and New York.
Okay.
Because New York City, it's beautiful, it's diverse. There's kind of everything you need in terms of culture and food and all that stuff. So
yeah.
And New York was great. They were really receptive to our music. And we met some cool people there. We met some cool people everywhere we went.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think Seattle and New York are tied.
Nice. Now, you didn't manage to make it as far north as Boston, did you?
We didn't, unfortunately.
You're
I wish we
breaking
would
my heart.
have. I really wish we would have, because I know you were giving me some advice on places to busk there, and then have a lot of friends who live in Boston.
Yeah, Boston's. That's a cool place, especially like if you're like hanging out around like the Berkeley area, like you're gonna meet cool people, and like people are like when they see musicians, especially other musicians, they're pretty friendly. I've noticed, but it's for another trip, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have friends. One of my friends is moving back to Boston soon, so I really got to make a trip up there and see some of my people.
Yeah,
but it is a hike.
It is. I mean, it's definitely a drive. I took a trip up to Vermont not too long ago, and I stopped near Boston, and it took me 15 hours. Yeah. To drive up there. It shouldn't have, but it was a whole thing. But yeah, about 15 hours straight driving. Brutal.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Fly. For anybody trying to go that way, fly. Do
I
yourself
know.
a favor. Buy a plane ticket.
Gosh, flying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pros and cons to each.
Well, and then there's that.
Right.
Okay, so New York. So did you mostly do like street busking? Did you get down into the subways at all and do any of that?
We made an attempt to play in the subway, like a brief attempt in Washington, D.C. And, we weren't trying to, like, pay to get in and do it. We also weren't trying to break the law.
Right.
So we overall found no success in D.C.
Really?
But it was weird. It was like a ghost town. It was odd. I mean, it was a Monday or Tuesday, I think, one of those. But it was still, I expected there to be more people out and about.
Yeah, that's bizarre because 2019 I was up in DC and like it didn't matter, like any day of the week there was like a bajillion people there.
Right.
That's a real number, by the way.
It is
100%.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah, we wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah, we didn't end up actually playing in any subways. I really wish we had, kind of, but no, we actually went outside of oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Union Square Park.
Okay.
yeah, it was beautiful. We met some great people, lots of great interactions. But we didn't do any of the subway stuff there
Right.
either. So
Yeah, fair enough. That subways can be really hit or miss too, especially because you mentioned before the show that you didn't have like a battery powered PA system with you. So trying to do that in a subway is difficult without something like that.
It
You get
is.
washed out real quick.
Yeah, it is. We were trying to go minimal things and,
Yeah.
kind of as organic as possible. 2 guitars, 2 voices, blowing my voice out a lot. Even though Nick was doing a lot of the heavy singing.
Yeah.
It was well worth it. You have to find your spot where you really fit and where it's a balance between like street noise and traffic, foot traffic, and there's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a lot of trial and error. Like, we're on this corner and nothing's happening. All right, let's pack up and move, and eventually you find luck.
Yeah. So, what if I imagine there was a number of things you probably learned on this trip. Anything in particular that stands out in your mind is like, wow, like I'm going to remember that lesson for like ever. Like something that was like helpful or cool or something that was just like, oh man, we really screwed up. Don't want to do that again.
Nothing necessarily specific to like road trips. Eat. Like,
You heard it here first, folks. Eat.
Eat before you're hungry.
She's a scientist.
I'm a scientist. You have to eat. Like, I get hangry.
Yeah.
And like really hangry.
Yeah.
Like, probably a lot of people watching that know me know this about me.
Do you need a Snickers?
I have a granola bar in my purse, like always, like most of the time, because you never know. You never know. You have to be proactive, because I would get hangry and then be negative Nancy, like just like grumpy.
Yeah.
And that's just not a good vibe for anyone. For anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when, you're with your significant other in the car and wherever else for weeks on end.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I felt bad because there were times when I was like, and we were trying to save money. So, we did a lot of granola bars. We did a lot of peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter banana sandwiches, variations of peanut butter, pretzels and peanut butter in a spoon. Whatever we could do with peanut butter, we did. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It just got to stay on top of it. You don't want to be stuck in a city with nothing to eat.
Now, did you do any sightseeing? Was this mostly like focused on music, or did you guys also when you were in DC? Did you see the monuments?
No, we didn't do any of that in DC. We kind of passed through. We stayed at my parents' house in Northern Virginia, and then we went to DC on our way to Philadelphia. And when it was bad, we were there maybe 2 hours playing, and then we were like, this is not our vibe. So we just hopped in the car and went up to Philly. But we did some sightseeing, especially in Seattle. We went to the Museum of Pop. What is it? The Museum of Pop Culture, I think. And then we did a little bit. That might have been it. Like, our friend who lived in Hollywood, we stayed with him, Jake T. What's up, Jake T? If you're watching. He took us around a little bit, in the hills and stuff. But other than that, it was very music focused. Like, we would drive to a city all day, find somewhere to stay that night, get up, get out for prime time, play our music, take a break, eat, come back. So it was, centered around music for sure.
So, no Grand Canyon?
We did see the Grand Canyon.
Oh, nice.
On our way from Texas to LA.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I feel like you kind of have to. If you're doing a cross-country road trip, it's like almost a crime. It probably should be a crime to not go to the Grand Canyon.
Why would you not if it's on the way?
Did you guys do any busking there?
We didn't. That would have been sick, though. Can you imagine how the sound would carry?
I was going to say, how is the reverb at the Grand Canyon? Was it, majestic?
No, we didn't. But, I feel like Nick did a little singing.
Well, all is forgiven in that case.
Yeah, we we planned to do a little more sightseeing. Like, we planned on the tail end of the trip heading back east, we planned to hit some national parks. Like we were going to go to Glacier National Park and we were going to go to Yellowstone National Park, but the weather was awful, and it's a nightmare to get camping there. Like you have to get there at like 5 a.m., which means what? Like you sleep in your car the night before.
Right.
If you're driving 10 hours to get there. So we ended up not doing that, but we did find a nice little campground in Montana and had a scare with bear cows, but that's another story.
With a what? A what now?
Okay, we heard a little and we're like, oh my God, that's a bear. And we were very scared. And when we got there, it was like 60 degrees. It was beautiful. And then it started raining. We got in the tent. It quickly dropped to like about freezing.
Okay.
And it's pouring down rain. And right before that, we heard the So we got in the tent and we were kind of scared. It stopped raining and we heard it again. And in my mind, I was like, I saw some cows coming in. It might be a cow. And Nick's like, no, it's a bear. It's a bear. It's a bear. So we're like, all right, it's a bear. And we don't have any bear spray. And then we thought we saw something walking like big black, like boom, boom, boom. And then as we were leaving, we saw a lot of free range cattle. So compromise was bear cows.
Bear cows. I like it.
So it was creepy, but we survived. So, and we got bear spray for next time.
Good thinking. Very.
Because you never know when a cow is going to attack you.
Or a bear cow. I mean.
Exactly.
Man, that's wild. So okay, so no Yellowstone. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What about Nashville? Did you guys make a stop over there?
We did. We were kind of disappointed, to be honest. Yeah.
Really?
It was
Hot take here, folks.
hot take.
Controversy.
Nashville's overrated. We got there. We walked downtown. We saw Jason Aldean's bar. We saw, we saw like all these like bars owned by popular country artists, and everywhere you walk, there's live music, which is cool. But they're all playing modern country cover songs.
Yep.
And so we're walking down, like scoping out, looking for a place to busk, and we're like, you know what? Let's just not. The vibe was just like everybody's walking around with like cowboy hats, and it's like none of you are locals, and I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything against like tourism. Tourism rocks. Tourism's cool, but as somebody who's not a big fan of modern country music, it just wasn't. It wasn't.
Not for you.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't for us,
Yeah.
So we didn't spend much time there, but we did eat well.
I imagine there's probably some pretty good food out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that might honestly be, at least for me, like if I were to do a trip, I'd probably get most excited about all the different food, because like you go some places like barbecue in Texas, see?
We broke vegetarianism for that. Literally Texas barbecue in Austin, we did.
See, it'll do it to you. It's just like, you can't not, it's tempting. Yeah.
It's like going to another country and not trying the local cuisine.
Right, yeah.
Don't let your diet restrict you from having experiences. I'm very anti-animal cruelty, but, in my mind, it's like, I know there are people who, there's no exceptions to your ethics and your morals, and I guess I don't agree just because, experiences.
Yeah.
You gotta have them.
I mean, barbecue.
I'm like, it's like, okay, I won't do it again. There you go. Did it once.
Yeah. So Austin, how was that?
It was great. It was kind of like a fancier, richer Richmond, Virginia. Is kind of like what Nick and I decided. It's beautiful. It's the music scene's great there. There's of course like some of that country twang kind of like around, like the music scene is like that, but there's a lot of really cool alternative music happening in that scene right now. So it was really cool to kind of explore downtown, go eat a lot, and hit up some of those legendary music stores, and see the place where a lot of our favorite musicians are from or are based. So it was wonderful. Absolutely loved it.
That, I mean, yeah, it sounds like a cool city. I've only heard good things about, especially just about like the creativity in the art scene there in general.
Yes.
There is a lot happening in Austin.
Oh yeah.
Now I've got one more question, and then I want to bring this back to the music.
Okay.
But as far as, you know, the perspective that you've gained from going on this trip, which I would imagine you probably got a lot of perspective,
Yeah.
has it changed how you view Virginia Beach and our music scene? And are there any lessons that you learned, or just things that you picked up from these other music scenes that you want to highlight and incorporate into our scene that you think would make our music scene better?
I think Virginia Beach has a unique music scene in that everybody's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talent in this area. We didn't really get deep into the music scenes in a lot of these places. You know, we saw other people busking, but it wasn't apparent kind of what they were there for, what their mission was, what they were doing, what kind of music they were playing. You know, we just
Right.
kind of saw them passing by. But I don't know. I think that the Virginia Beach music scene, it's very diverse, it's very deep, and I think all we can do is keep trying to create novel music, you know?
Yeah.
Like just, I mean, not that I know anything about how a music scene should be or how it should grow, but I do know that I feel most comfortable in a scene where there's a lot of diversity and people are doing what they really want to do, not what they think people want to hear. And that's what I see in Virginia Beach, and I'd like to see more of, you
Yeah.
know. So unfortunately, I didn't get a lot out of the music scenes in those places because we were more kind of, we're bringing you our music
Right.
and
Right.
get ready to take it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that.
Well, that sounds about right, honestly. Just from the little bit of perspective I have from having been a part of a couple different music scenes, the scene out in Virginia Beach is certainly special. You know, like Hampton Roads in general, it is very there are these close knit music communities that I found are very welcoming and, as you said, very diverse and broad.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't speak to like a place like Seattle or Austin because I haven't been. But I don't know, I have a feeling like ours might be the best one. Oh, throwing some shade. But seriously, I mean, Virginia Beach is a special place, I've found.
It is. It definitely is. And there's a wide array of genres and people kind of, even within those genres, doing what they want
Yeah.
and kind of mixing and matching styles with their own original music. And I think that's really the key to a thriving music scene.
Couldn't agree more.
Good.
All right.
Same page.
So, yeah. All right. So, with that, actually, before we jump into the music, do you have anything else about the trip that you want to discuss? Anything that you're just like, oh, like people really need to know about this?
I don't know. It's just, I guess people need to know that no matter where you go, just be open-minded. You know?
Yeah.
I've seen so much in the current climate, just so much bigotry and ignorance, and traveling can get you out of that shell. And you know, we met so many interesting people on the road, on the streets, you know.
Yeah.
And they all have something to offer. So just stay open-minded.
It's a great message.
This song is called Sun Will Rise. let it be with the silence of the earth. I lay to rest a subtle urge to let myself be me. Though the sun will rise and tempt my weary eyes, I will fall, I will fall, I will fall. Stamping versions of ourselves, occupied to burden shells. We never let ourselves be free through trying times, and in your angry eyes, I will fall, I will fall, I will put myself first again, make believe that I'm whole again, count my steps towards the sun again, make my way home again. As the sun will rise in the reborn eyes, you will fall, you will fall, you
Oof. Just, again, just like your songwriting. Where do you get it from? Like how does what is the process where you're just like, "Oh, I'm going to write this amazing song."
I don't have a process, to be honest with you. Like, I see a lot of people and they all have their own processes, and for me it's like it comes from anywhere, you know? Like that song I was writing on the back of a motorcycle looking around, and like
What?
I swear, and these words just came to me, and I was like, and a melody, and I got home and it just kind of came out. And not all songs happen like that. All my good ones do. I have lots of songs that aren't good because I sit down and say, I'm going to write today, you know, and I don't know. I mean, sometimes the words come first. Sometimes I just write a poem and then I come back to it and I say, this needs to be a song. And sometimes a melody comes to me and I have to wrestle with it and find some lyrics. But, you know, it varies. It really does. It varies a lot.
So, would it be fair to say that it is more of a spark of inspiration that hits you, and then you just get after it, and like, you know, like an hour, maybe even like just like 15 minutes later, it's basically there? Or do you deliberate more on your music? Like, what does that look like?
Well, it depends. Again, it depends. Like that song in particular, I got home, like I made a mental note of these lyrics that came to me, and I immediately went home and wrote out what was in my head. And then, you know, I let it sit for a little bit. I came back to it and I really deliberated over that. Like I ended up writing the bridge and, you know, I spent some significant time doing all of that. And then once it's done, it's like I play it and I play it and I play it. and until something stands out to me that needs to be, fixed. And then I play it live and then it changes, you
Right.
know? So there's so many different facets of the process, but a lot of times I don't really have like a dedicated time to polish songs. It's just I'll play it live and just know what's right and what's not, you know?
Yeah, it's that, and that's a funny phenomena where like you can be in your room playing a song that you just wrote and feel good about it, but then as soon as you play it in front of other people, even if they're like almost regardless of their reaction, you feel different about the song just because there are other people. Like there are certain like I don't know, at least in my case, like you can almost get self-conscious about what you're doing, going like, oh God, all of a sudden you're thinking like, oh, I thought this was a great song. No, this is terrible. What am I doing? And then you're like waiting, just like the anticipation. What do people actually think? You know?
Yeah, that can happen. Like, I definitely have been mid-song and doubting myself, especially with the song that I recorded with you that will be released soon, I promise. Um, that song, it's like, it was one thing
Yeah.
when I played it in my bedroom, and then I went to play it live and thought, like, this really isn't that dynamic. So I changed it a little bit. And then I came to your studio, and it turned into, like, this whole other amazing, like, huge, production. And now I have to relearn it. You know what I mean? It's like, do I stick to those original roots and that original skeleton, or do I throw in a little more flair, or do I try to keep it, the way it was when I first wrote it? So I have been struggling with that one,
Interesting.
but because it really came to life in a different way in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I mean,
guess.
you heard it.
Yeah. No, that, and just side note, that was so much fun
Yeah,
to
it
work on.
was.
That was a really cool experience. And just a shout out to Diamond Hall and to Tyler Donahue and BLT and oh God, I'm blanking. Beth Turner.
Turner.
Jeez. Wow, I'm sorry, Beth.
The queen.
And Beth Turner for really coming through clutch on that to do some like crazy chorus background vocals. I mean, it was so cool. It was a ton of fun. Everybody that participated, just so much talent, and they all did it without question too. I mean, it was amazing. Like we hit them up and they were just like, "Oh yeah, sure, we're down." Like, okay, what? Like, awesome.
I felt
Sweet.
the same way. Like some of those people, like I didn't know too well, and they're like, "Oh, Marie Claire's doing a song, and Paul's, producing it." Like,
Yeah.
no questions asked.
Yeah, seriously.
Literally.
Look, try getting, 5 musicians to get together, at a specific day, at a specific time, in a specific place, and see how far you get. Because it can be difficult, and it was just like mind-blowingly easy. Everybody was just super down and accommodating.
Yeah.
Um,
Except for me, I wasn't like an hour late for my own session. Ugh.
well, you kind of live far away.
I do. I think I came from Richmond
Yeah,
that day.
actually, you did. Yeah.
I did, and I got stuck in traffic. That was
Yeah.
just ugly.
You know what though? It worked out because there was a lot of prep work. Like there was more prep work because I've never had that many people in my studio for a project. At least I have since then, but at the time that was the most people I had incorporated into a project, and so just logistically, like I didn't really know how that was going to go. It was kind of a trial by fire. And it was really cool because everybody was super professional and receptive, to instruction, and everybody played their part, and they played it really, really well, and I super appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
They were awesome.
having that hour to kind of get things sorted out before you got there was actually a blessing. So it really worked out the way it was supposed to, I feel.
Right, but the lyric is no struggle, only peace, not no struggle, no peace, Mr. Pessimist. Other than that,
Other than that,
really good session, getting everyone on the same page.
yeah, well, it all worked out in the end.
It did. You're like, wait a second. No,
Yeah.
this is a depressing song, but it's not that depressing.
Not that depressing.
There has to be a healthy balance
Yeah.
of darkness and love.
It was probably
And that's how I write.
it was probably a good thing you showed up for that session.
Yeah.
That
I
could have
was-
been a mess.
Oh, it worked out. It was wonderful. And I understand because I think it was Nick who asked me the other day about another lyric. It's like, man, was I not clear? Do I need to enunciate more? I guess I do.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out ultimately, especially all of like the gang vocals. I think it sounds really big. I think it sounds like there were way more people. And yeah, because honestly, I didn't know. I had never done that before. So I really didn't know how it was going to turn out. I just kind of had this like theory in my head, and just kind of assumed like, well, if I put these people here and do it like this, with a little bit of magic on the technical side, I think I can get it to sound like this. And at that point, it was just like, well, hope I'm right.
Oh, yeah. Well, it worked out great.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds amazing, and I am appreciative. Thank you, everybody who helped, especially you, Paul. Like, it was the last time we did the live stream, and then we just hung out after, and you were like, hey, like, let's do some stuff. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got we tracked, like, the guitar and, like, a lot of the vocals that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Yeah, exactly. It was really spur of the moment. It's like, hey, like, let's just do this. And you're like, okay. Plugged in, set the mics up, and just like, boom, just went. And then I think we did like, we got gang vocals. We did a final vocal session, I think, and then some production, like a production session or whatever. And then before you know it, boom, it was done. And it's like, all right, sweet, like this went well.
Yeah, and it was a lot. It was definitely the most produced song that I've done, and I'm really excited to share it with you all.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, let's do a couple more songs and we'll wrap this thing up. The time flew by.
I know. We also haven't seen each other in a while, so this is like
Yeah.
low key kind of a.
Yeah, we're catching up right now.
We're
Yeah.
catching up, and you guys are catching up with me, catching up with Paul, catching up with my guitar. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. Apparently, somehow you go on the road with that thing for 6 months, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
And geez, where's the time gone? 6 weeks, and you really hadn't played that guitar all that much.
No, this guitar is more of like it's like a concert kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that loud, so
Yeah.
it doesn't do very well in the streets.
Yeah,
That
it is.
dreadnought shape is like way fuller.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful guitar and I love it, but it definitely didn't do anything justice on the
Right.
streets.
Yeah. Street performing that's a whole other animal. It really is.
Oh, you're telling me. I found out really fast that that's not my calling.
Wow, something you can't do.
Well, I
You heard it
tend
here
to
first,
croon.
folks.
I tend to croon a little bit more than I do yell, but I do my share of yelling until my voice blows like it did last night.
Yeah, well. And yet you sound great.
I appreciate it. Well, on that note, I will play Winter Rains, which is the single that I'll be releasing soon. I'm going to play more of that bare bones, kind of wrote it in my bedroom style of it. So I hope you guys enjoy and expect a very different version of this when the song is released. Shouldn't the earth be us by now? My heart's been working overtime. Remind me again who I'm running from. I can't remember now, it's been so long. It's a hazy holiday photo. It's an unexpected laugh. It's a fear of other people. You're your pen broke in half. I want to drown in your love. Drown in your love. No struggle, only peace. Shouldn't we be old by now? My heart's been working overtime. I think we both know how it feels to trust a stranger with our lives. It's a loaded distraction. It's a half-assed romance. It's me singing in the bathtub. Your restless drumming hands. I want to drown in your love. Drown in your love. No struggle, only peace. I want to drown in your love. Drown in your love. I want to drown in your love. I want to drown in your love. No struggle, only peace. No struggle, only peace. No struggle, only pieces of me.
I don't really think you need to change a thing,
No.
other than no struggle, no peace.
No struggle, no peace. That's, my message today to all of you people. No struggle, no peace.
That's right.
No struggle, no peace. I don't know. It's actually, it's not as dark as it sounds if you break it down. No struggle, no peace. It's kind of uplifting. It's like, hey, no struggle, no peace, man. I don't know.
Actually, well, if you phrase it that, it's all in the inflection.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like no struggle, no peace.
Yeah, it's like if you put a comma that, well, no, those are like two weird statements to put next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't. I think maybe we should just settle on like don't.
Just don't. You know what? You're right.
No struggle, only peace.
Yes. No, I really do like the way that you play. It's a very like subdued kind of a vibe, like really up until the end, and then you kind of like let it rip, And I think it's cool, and it's got that dynamic, and I think Because we produced around that, so the core of the song is still that. It definitely changes it in, I don't know, makes it, especially at the end with like all those vocals, makes it like
Yeah.
really big.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's like the dynamics of that song just go up and up and up and up and up and up, and you're like, when does it end? Uh, but I still really like the core of that song where it's just you and the acoustic guitar and the way that you play it.
I'm coming back around to love it again. It was really hard for me after I first got like that final master of it, and I was like, oh my god, how am I ever gonna play this live again?
Ah,
And the more I do it, the more it's like, yeah, like this, when I'm playing it solo anyway,
Yeah.
like if I get a band and we play it live, then
do it. Get a band.
Paul is such a proponent of me getting a band.
I want to see you with a band behind you. I feel like it would just absolutely crush, just
Well,
murder.
you heard it here. Any musicians in RVA that are trying to get together?
Seriously, like Marie Claire, she don't screw around. Like,
I don't.
yeah,
I don't screw around.
yeah. If you want to go places, yeah, show up with your A game and be ready to put in some work. But I would imagine it would be a ton of fun.
It would be fun. Yeah, but I come to love that version again, the one I wrote in my bedroom. So,
Yeah,
every song has endless possibilities for what it can be, and this song is one of those. Maybe it'll never stop getting played different ways, and I kind of hope that's how it is.
yeah.
In a way.
I like that. Actually, I had somebody on here not too long ago, who talked about how, she's written like a bunch of songs over like the last like 40 years, and she talked about how, sometimes 10, 15 years later, and sometimes sooner than that, she'll revisit a song and go like, you know what, that was the way that I wrote it then was right for who I was and where I was then. But I'm somewhere different now, and I'm a little bit different now, and I think the song should reflect that. And so the songs kind of grew and matured and changed with her. I think that's kind of a cool concept,
Yeah, I agree, and I think that that's part of what keeps music evolving. In your own like you evolve all the time. We're evolving all the time
Yeah.
as people, as individuals, as artists, and I think the coolest musicians, their music reflects that. They'll play the same song from 20 years ago, and it's not the same.
Yeah.
So, and even if it's not like something that you're changing in the actual composition, but sometimes it's like the delivery changes, and I think that's like my favorite to see.
Yeah.
Like I love watching artists over the years and like the delivery changes because it's like I'm in a different place now. So I tend to love that.
That brings up a question. Do you have a song that you've written, say, like a couple years ago, that meant one thing to you then? That when you heard your own, like you hear yourself playing this song and it gives you a certain feeling or a certain message, and you're like, oh, this is what this song that I wrote means to me. And then years go by and things happen as they do in life, and you sit down with that song and you go, wow, like this song means something totally different to me now. Or maybe not totally, but like, does that happen with you?
Kind of. I mean, Winter Rains was a song like that. When I wrote it, I was, in a certain headspace. And I think when I wrote it, I didn't know what I was feeling. You know what I mean? It was like it all came out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And I really didn't do any changes to that song. Like the way it came out is the way that you're hearing it. And, it's like, I like to write that way because it's like I'm writing exactly what I'm feeling, and regardless of what it means to someone else, it means to me what it's supposed to mean.
Right.
And that song's one of those. It's like I go back and listen to it, and it's like a whole different, or even when I play it, it's like I'm feeling what I'm feeling when I wrote it. But when it comes down to it, it's like the lyrics mean something very different to me. And I think I write like that a lot, where it's like there's an open-ended meaning in my songs, and that kind of like gives it the room for me to kind of grow into it in different ways. So,
Yeah.
and Winter Rains was a song like that for me,
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've found that there are a couple songs that I wrote like 2, 3 years ago that I thought I knew what they meant, and in some regards, I knew that they worked, but I wasn't necessarily quite sure of what they meant. And then the weird part is that like a year later or whatever, whatever the time scale is, something would happen in my life, and the song would make way more sense, almost like it was like predicting my future.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird, like, it's like I don't know what's going on with the universe, man.
Right.
But it's kind of like a weird thing, like like why, how, you know?
I know.
Like, how did you know song?
Yeah, I have some of those.
Yeah.
Definitely have some of those. Because it's like you're reflecting on what you're feeling, and sometimes what you're feeling is like kind of indicative of something coming, something's changing.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is yet, and you're kind of like feeling it out and processing, like, I know something's gonna change. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm feeling. And then when it happens, it's like, it was right there. It was like right.
Isn't
right
that
there.
wild?
Yeah.
That's a mind-blowing experience. Being a musician is a wacky, crazy ride.
Always. Literally always.
Yeah.
It never ends. And I hope, it never will. It never will. And I like it that way.
Yeah. No, same. There's something certainly special about it.
Absolutely.
All right. So, do you have maybe one more song for us?
One more song. I do.
You can do 2 more if you want.
Well, if you want it to be one more, that's fine. Oh my God, I just went to turn on my guitar. I'm not plugged in. Such a habit. Such a habit. Because when I play this song, crank it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Little side note. I've been playing live a lot, which I am so grateful for. This song is one of the singles I released back in 2019 when I was just a baby. Go listen to it. You'll be shocked to hear how different I sound. This song is called Stride. I don't think I wanna walk away this time. You went and left your footprints on my mind. Just a simple melody, I can't deny the way you fit me like a glove. I just cannot fathom the way you love, the way you love. Through overgrown trails we'll find our own way. Suspended above, the sun seems to say there's more to be felt than the sorrows of yesterday. Ooh, riddled with uncertainty, that's true. But it makes reality that much less blue. I've never known such dark eyes, whose surface knows no disguise. With pockets of stars will maintain our spark. The remnants of light will maintain our mark. yesterday.
Wow. Marie Claire Evans, thank you so much for doing this. This has been one, great catching up, great to hear your music, and really an enlightening conversation. I've learned a lot today, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
Abs-
You are a mastermind. You really are.
I don't know about all that. I do what I can. Well, thank you for saying so. Ooh, actually, real quick, this thought just popped into my head. You would do very, very well up in Vermont. Like your
You think
music,
so?
yeah, you should at some point take a trip up there. I can connect you with some people if you ever have an interest in doing that. So you'll have a place to stay and some people that can kind of show you where to play and help set that up because your music would crush up there. Like no kidding. Like that's something to really think about.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
but
Keep that in mind.
anyhow, yeah, this was awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming back and doing this. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope to be able to get you back again soon.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. It's such a wonderful way to share with the world and with you.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of neat. It's turning into something I feel.
It is. It definitely is.
So, and real quick, I also just want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in and anybody tuning in the future, watching back the videos. We really, really appreciate, the love and support. And, I hope you guys got something out of this as well. And once again, Marie Claire, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Marie Claire Music. That's MariecLaire music. No hyphen. Although my name does have a hyphen. I know it's confusing. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram, you can find me.
Awesome. And I should have mentioned this earlier. Any upcoming gigs? Because, folks, Marie Claire plays all over town. And if you thought this was cool, you need to see her live. It's all. Just go do it. Like, it's awesome. Like, you need to go do it. Like, do it now.
I appreciate that. I am playing Friday. I'll be at Barrett's Seafood Restaurant in Williamsburg, and then Saturday I'll be at Ocean View Fishing Pier in Norfolk. That's always a fun one. It's like a little rooftop restaurant and bar, and I get to play on the sunset, something that is
Nice.
always amazing.
Yeah.
It's always windy though, but it's fantastic. Great food, great views. They don't call it Ocean View for nothing. But yeah, I'll be there on Saturday night, 6 to 10. Friday is 3:30 to 6:30 at Barrett's.
Awesome. Well, there you go, folks. Make sure you check out Marie Claire's social medias. Go to her website. Keep up with her schedule if you want to see her live, which, again, highly, highly recommend. You're going to have a good time. There's no reason not to do it. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't. So, anyhow. Well, Marie Claire, again, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
All righty, folks. Good night.